I've recreated De Zerbi's 4-2-3-1 that he's used at Brighton in the last season. 2 fantastic results, and I want to see just how good it is, as we have simmed 4 different seasons, one of which we're using for the rebuild, and you'll have to wait till the end of the video to find out which one that is. Let's show you how we got on with the results then, and we'll start at Brighton. What better place to start than on the south coast with the actual club he manages. In terms of the league, disappointing. We finished 12th. Now, we were constantly pretty much all season hovering around the European places, but we did drop off towards the end of the season. Knocked out in the round of 16 by Atletico Madrid in the Europa League, knocked out in the 3rd round by Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, and we got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, so not a bad cup display, but the league was a massive underperformance with a negative 12 goal difference. If we look into the data hub just a little bit, our passing was really good, but everywhere else we really underperformed. And if we drill down just a little bit and we look at our attacking play, again, we didn't create anywhere near enough in comparison to the rest of the league. Defensively, we were better than the rest of the league. You know, clear chances per game, we gave away average of 3 on average per game compared to the rest of the teams. But not good enough, because we're defending well, but we weren't creating. Now, in terms of the squad and where things came from, as you can see, our top goal scorer was Kario Mitoma with 18 goals. João Pedro got 12 and Adam Lallana 12 as well. Not enough, and assists wise that was pretty average as well. Solly March with 13 leading the way. We also tested this out with AC Milan, finishing 2 points behind eventual winners Napoli. Fantastic performance, really. It was so close that we could have got there, but we were just pipped. Knocked out in the group stage of the Champions League, which is a disappointment, and the 3rd round of the Coppa Italia as well. And we came runners up in the Coca-Cola Super Cup. Really, really poor, but I'm sure that actually, had we been managing this in game, the Brighton save probably would have been different, and so would this. I reckon we would have at least got something in the cabinet. Data hub wise, if we look at the general performance, you can see so much better attacking when you're using a team with flair players. And I think that is key. I do think the Brighton team will be different on next year's Football Manager, but obviously we're using this year's statistics and this year's attributes on next year's database, courtesy of the guys at FM Database. Non-expected penalty goals were really good. Our goals per game was a lot higher. We did, our passing was good, tackling and shots per game a lot better. And if we drill down on that as well, you can see that attacking football with AC Milan was king. Really, really good. The only thing we could have been better on was shots on target. It was actually a little bit less than the average league, average for the league, but not bad. And when we look at defensively, the chances we gave away per game, the blocks we were having to make per game, etc., are all just so much better than the rest of Serie A. So not bad overall. And if we drill down into this and we don't go into the squad planner, we actually go into the squad, you can see Oliver Giroud 25 goals. Now disappointingly, no one else hit double figures. Rafael Leao got 9, Charles de Ketelaere got 9, and Alex Salamanca's got 6. Assists wise, not great either. Theo Hernandez got 10, De Ketelaere got 8, Christian Pulisic got 7, and Salamanca's got 6. The key thing I think here was, Mike Mannion was sensational, conceding just 26 goals in the league all season. That is brilliant. And if we just deep dive a little bit into the league table, and we have a look at the stats, you can see we average 60% possession. 60% possession. That, and a passing percentage of 89%. Only Lazio matched us, and Napoli were just behind with 58. So that, again, is really, really good. Shows that we keep the ball, we recycle it well, which is why we conceded so few goals. And we tested this out with Barcelona. Now, I do find every time we try and do La Liga, we struggle. But if we look at that, we finished 2nd in the league, 89 points. Let's have a look at the rest of the competitions. We actually won won the Champions League as well on penalties, beating Real Madrid in the final, which is brilliant. We were knocked out of the Copa del Rey in the quarterfinals by Real Madrid, so they, you know, with a little bit of payback there, I suppose, and we were runners up in the Supercopa de España. If we just deep dive a little bit into the league before we go into the data hub, let's have a look. We had an average of 59% possession, 88% passing completion rate over the course of the season. That is really good. The league is pretty good. Atletico Madrid 62% leading the way, but still 59% is brilliant. And if we look at the data hub again, you can see with flair players, with class players that Brighton don't have, our attacking football was there, and it was brilliant. Again, we deep dive into the attacking. It's so nice when you can see that nice curve at the top and how much more we were able to create and score than the rest of the league. I think that really does have a massive impact. Again, defensively, the chances we gave away per game were really good. The blocks per game, we didn't have to make any blocks. If this was out here, I'd be concerned because it means we're giving them more opportunities to score. If we look at the squad very quickly and we look at who scored the goals, now there is only one man for Barcelona who scores the goals, and that is Robert Lewandowski. 39 goals in 50 appearances, but however, these were spread a bit more around than Milan and Brighton. Ansu Fati got 20, Pedri got 19, and Fernando Torres got 10. 4 players in double figures, 4 players with 10 or more goals is fantastic. And the assists, again, they're spread out nicely as well. Ousmane Dembele got 18, Ansu Fati got 16, Pedri 15, and then Gavi just falling short of that double figure mark with 9. So all in all, really impressive from that team. And if we look at Ter Stegen, 26 goals he conceded in the league all season, 39 in all competitions, with 21 clean sheets over the course of the entire season. Really, really impressive from the big German. Now, we did also try this tactic with Liverpool. Liverpool were top of the Premier League until the final day of the season, where they lost. They actually lost they drew the last game and finished 2 points behind eventual winners Man City. They won the Europa League, beating Lazio in the final 3-1, were knocked out of the FA Cup before the final third round of the Carabao Cup, and won the Charity Shield. So let's have a look at that deep dive into the Premier League again. If we go to teams detailed, 59% possession, again, really good. Only Man City and Arsenal above, and that's 60 and 61% respectively, and an 88% passing completion rate. That in itself is superb. And let's have a look at the data hub again. You can see just how far ahead on goals per game we were. 2.63 goals per game we average, which is 1.2 more than the rest of the league. Our non-expected penalty goals was nearly 1 more on average than the rest of the league as well, and we averaged a massive 7.25 shots more per game than the rest of the Premier League. If we deep dive a little bit further into the attacking, you can see our cross completion as well was 10 more, on average 10 more than the rest of the league. We also gave away 5 fewer fouls per game. It's just lovely reading, it really is. And the defensive side of it is very similar to the rest of it. You can see averaging 6.5 fewer chances against us per game than the rest of the league. Our interceptions, 23 interceptions on average, just unreal. We're averaging 3.95 blocks a game. It really is very, very good reading when you look at the deep dive into it. And if we deep dive into the squad just a little bit, the goals for this team were spread around even further than Barcelona. 39 goals both for Mohamed Salah and Darwin Núñez. Luis Diaz got 25, Cody Gakpo got 14, and Alexis McAllister got 14, which is brilliant. And that is, 14 goals for Gakpo, considering 29 of his appearances came off the bench. Just awesome. Assist-wise, Luis Diaz led the way with 21, Mohamed Salah 19, then you got Trent Alexander-Arnold with 17, Thiago and Robertson both getting 14, and Darwin Núñez up front getting 11. Wow. Absolutely brilliant when you actually look at how that squad performed in terms of those key statistics. The other thing to know is as well that when we deep dive a little bit further into the Premier League, you can see that we conceded 32 goals, but we scored a massive 100. We scored 13 more goals over the course of the season than any other team. amazing, really, really is. And if we just nip back to Alisson over the course of the season, he conceded 39 goals in total in 50 appearances with 27 clean sheets in all competitions. That is absolutely sensational. Now then, before I go into who we're going to be rebuilding on this week's rebuild on Friday using this tactic, let's show you how it works. Now, it is a 4-2-3-1 with 2 holding midfielders. Pretty standard lineup when you look at it, and pretty standard formations. It really comes into its own on the team instructions. So we've got a sweeper keeper in goal that's set to defend. We're going to make them take fewer risks, which is why, again, we concede so few goals. We've got wing backs on either side set to support, and they are going to be crossing more often and staying wider. We are also telling them to mark tighter, so they are going to shut down the opposition's wings. We have 2 ball-playing defenders here, both set to defend, who are going to pass it shorter and mark nice and tight against the strikers. And the idea of those ball-playing defenders is just to pass it on. It's not to play those long balls, but they can if there is the chance to. But we do just want them to recycle it to our 2 deep-lying playmakers who are sat in front of them. On the left, we have the deep-lying playmaker set to defend. Now, they are going to be more of a shuttler. Obviously, there is the role for a shuttler, but I quite like having the 2 deep-lying playmakers set in this with the slightly different instructions. He's going to take more risks, so he is going to be trying to fire the ball forward. We're going to also let them tackle quite hard in that position. They are going to be, as much as they're going to be a playmaker, they're going to be an enforcer. Next to them then, we have the deep line playmaker in support. They're not going to take as many risks, because ideally what you want this deep line playmaker to be doing is moving up and being that third runner. He is going to be the player who is making the late runs to support McAllister in this situation. We're still using the Liverpool's team here. McAllister, Salah, Diaz and Nunes. He's going to be getting up and turning that 4 into a 5. And if you then count, you've also got your wing backs up here. That is 7 players in the opposition time, and is why again we score so many, because there's always somebody on the overload. On the right hand side, it's an inverted winger set to support. We're going to be wanting them just to lay it off, but they are going to be wanting to shoot more often and going to be sitting nice and narrow, which means they're going to be driving it into the box. In the middle, it's an attacking midfielder set to attack. They're moving into channels and looking for that little pocket of space where they can create something, which again, we look at the Liverpool statistics, it's why McAllister got so many assists. On the left is an inverted winger set to attack. Similar things to the right hand side, sitting narrow, driving in. The difference is we want them to be a little bit more of a goal threat than the right hand side. And up front we have a pressing forward, just going to be looking to lay the ball off when he gets it, moving into channels and trying to play off the back line. Now, I said that it really comes into its own when we have the team instructions, and this is why, because we actually have it set to play quite narrow while setting our wing backs to stay wide. That means that all of the other players will come into the middle of the pitch, and your 2 wing backs will keep that width. So when the player, we have the ball and it collapses into the middle, they're unmarked on the width, which is why our crossing percentage was so high, as you saw, because those wing backs had time to put a decent ball into the box. We're going to play out a defence and focus through the middle. Remember, we are narrowing the pitch. A nice high tempo with short 1-touch, 2-touch football, and we're going to let them run at the defence and be expressive. So you need flair players in this team to work. If you don't have flair players, you are going to struggle. In transition, we're going to counter press, and when we get the ball, we're going to spring forward and try and score as quickly as we can. And when we have the ball with our goalkeeper, we're going to distribute it to the centre backs and let them do their thing. We don't need to be kicking the ball long and just giving it back to the opposition. That doesn't make any sense in the long run at all. And when we're out of possession, we're a nice high press up front and a high press defensively. Now, notice we're not on the halfway line. We are slightly off it. We're not taking risks at the back. Remember, we want to keep it nice and tight. That is the idea behind this tactic. It's free-flowing attacking football with an eye on stopping the opposition actually getting in behind. We are trigger pressing more often, and we're dropping off more. That's that thing there where we're not up here looking for the offside trap. We are here and we can just drop back if we have to. We're trapping the players inside. Let's just drop that back. We're trapping them inside and we're stopping the crosses. So we really, remember, we're a narrow team. We want to condense the middle of the field and not allow them any space at all. Now, our gameplay footage comes from the 3-0 win against Tottenham. As you can see there, because we're so narrow, there's only one player out to stop the cross from Trent Alexander, who delivers it to Luis Diaz to make it 1-0. And again, you can see here, if we just look to stop it there, because our front three are so narrow, which is here, look how much space, if I just change the camera here, because that isn't the best. Let's go to TV. There we go. Because our front three players are so narrow here, look at how much space Andy Robertson has. Look at how much space Trent Alexander-Arnold has. That is why we've left them wide. We're condensing the pitch from the midfield and strikers while keeping it wide with the fullbacks. It's really clever, really clever. And if we just roll it on, you'll see Diego Jota plays it out to Trent, Trent to Harvey Elliott, Elliott into the box, and it is that time and space that Trent Alexander-Arnold had that allowed him to pass the ball to Harvey Elliott. The third goal came from a corner with Cody Gakpo whipping it in. It's headed away and it comes back out to him. Spurs don't really get out. Gakpo into the box, and it's an easy finish. And that's it. So that's how this tactic works. Now, I told you all at the start of the video we were going to be doing a rebuild on Friday, and our rebuild is with Liverpool. Liverpool had such a bad season last year. They got players that are going to be leaving. Remember, in real life, Henderson has just gone to Saudi Arabia. Fabinho is apparently on his way. There's rumours Luis Diaz is about to leave as well. So it's going to be a realistic rebuild, and we're going to carry on from exactly where this tactic test has left off, and we're going to use the De Zerbi tactic. So tune in on Friday for that, and I'll have more of these tactic tests coming to you really soon. This is available to download on Sort It Outside. And if you've enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments below. If you've tried it as well, let me know your results, because I'd really like to see how you get on. And I'm always happy to test some of your tactics. So if there is anything you'd like me to give it a go, or you'd like to see me recreate someone's tactic, please let us know in the comments below and I will get it done. I'll see you on Friday, guys. You have a great one.